Has just delivered the keynote address at the inaugural Drakensberg Inclusive Growth Forum, a Kgalema Motlanthe Foundation initiative. Over 3 days, the foundation will engage thought leaders on matters of economic growth and the land debate.
When hospitals run short of medicine, when housing projects remain unfinished, when schools run out of books, we know that our institutions are failing our people. And I want that to come to an end.
Well, let's cross over to our reporter now, Kgalema, who is at the event. A very good evening to you. Essentially, what is the Kgalema Motlanthe Foundation initiative all about?
Good evening, Shante. The event has got underway. The President, as you've indicated, delivered his keynote address, his welcoming address, his opening address for this Inclusive Growth Forum. And so it has now got underway. The first session is of much interest because at the moment we're talking about the South Africa that we pray for. We're talking about betrayal of the promise. We are also talking about the role of business in South African institutions, but I think the one that most people are looking most forward to is SABC Jonas's take on the impact of state capture. And he was introduced here as a man who nearly became a multi-millionaire in South Africa as a result. So these are the things that are happening right now as we speak. However, when you talk to what President Ramaphosa would have addressed, I think you want to start at the very end where he talks about South Africa, that South Africa should have the ability and should dare to dream even despite everything that it has gone through. He goes on to talk to the issue of young girls, and he says that they should be given equal opportunities to excel because he says women are better than men anyway. He goes on to talk about the youth in general, saying that one of the most heinous crimes of apartheid was the lack of skills that resulted from it for particularly black people in the country. He goes on to talk about state institutions. He goes on to talk about land, saying that even the World Bank agrees that something should be done about land in South Africa because it is one of the root causes of inequality in the country. Shante?
Essentially, this is, the first day of the 3-day summit. What else is set to be discussed over the next 3 days?
Well, I know that tomorrow we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution. We're talking about the role of the media, but also tomorrow it will be about making space for youth participation. Now, you know that tomorrow we are celebrating Youth Day. In fact, President Ramaphosa has left this event after delivering his address because he is going to a youth event in Johannesburg tomorrow. So tomorrow, this is what will be happening. We have panel discussions, but also we have a panel discussion on land, and the groups will break away and then come back with recommendations that will go into a report that will be wrapped up on Sunday. And this report and recommendations, we understand when we spoke to former President Motlanthe earlier today, it will be presented to the government. They are looking for it to be a way to fast track the national development plan of the country. And this, as you said in your introduction, this is the response of former President Kgalema Motlanthe to President Ramaphosa's call for Tumamina.
David, is this all about rebranding, for South Africa and that investor confidence? We do know that Fitch has, of course, affirmed South Africa's grade at stable, but of course there are still concerns about South Africa's low economic growth.
Well, Shante, I think it is more than that. As the President said, the root cause of this, the reason we're calling this the Inclusive Growth Forum is because there is so much inequality in South Africa at so many levels. Much of it is brought or was brought about by apartheid, but it continues even today because a lot of the injustices of the past, according to him, have still not been addressed. And as I said earlier, land is at the core of those inequalities, but also the apartheid system that did not give people equal opportunity, and as he indicated, skills, for instance, but also the fact that now as we speak with state capture, it has now emerged that state institutions were at risk. or they were taken advantage of. And this forum intends to look at how it is that the president can be advised by those who came before him, by economists, by statisticians who are here, by engineers, even by young people, because according to former President Kgalema Motlanthe, there is no sector of society that can be as strong and determined as the youth, and this is why this forum is being held, to find a future for South Africa and to find a South Africa that South Africans want.
Let's see what then Takawani Ngatare coming to us live from Drakensberg on that initiative of inclusive growth. Also just hearing some of the sentiments that were shared this evening by President Cyril Ramaphosa.